Linda's actually joining us to talk about an arrest and the other breaking story we have,
That's
that
right.
Snowball fight that
Yeah.
took place. So what do we know? An arrest, 27 years old?
A 27-year-old man has been arrested. Now, this is a snowball fight that took place in Washington Square Park, which is in, Lower Manhattan here in New York City. And this was on Monday. And what happened here is that people who live in the neighborhood of Washington Square Park, they called the NYPD. Many people calling 911 saying that a large, very large, unruly crowd had assembled in the park and things were getting out of control. So the NYPD responded. This is what happened when they responded. Members of that crowd then started throwing snowballs and pummeling the police officers. And the police officers, instead of escalating the situation, the NYPD said they started to move away to de-escalate the situation.
That's what I'm seeing.
And continue to get pummeled in the back of their heads, on their backs, in their faces. And in one case, somebody came up behind one of the police officers with a huge chunk and then just smashed it right on top of his head. So a couple of the officers had to go to the hospital. They had lacerations on their face and neck from this. But the NYPD putting out pictures of 4 people. They said that they wanted, and this is one of them here. This is the 27-year-old who was arrested, and his name is Guzmani Coulibaly. And then you see the other 3 pictures there. Those are 3 other people that the NYPD is looking for because they want to talk with them and probably arrest them as well.
Athena, you can put that back up so Linda can do her thing over that.
Yeah,
Thanks, Athena.
yeah. Okay, so this is the person, the 27-year-old. By the way, this 27-year-old, again, his name is Guzmani Coulibaly. He was arrested less than 3 weeks ago for attempted robbery in the transit system. So this is creating a lot of controversy on 2 fronts. Number one, that this happened, but also Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch had called this incident an assault and said that it was criminal and it was deplorable behavior. Mayor Mamdani has been asked about this multiple times. And from day one, he said he saw the video and he described it as a bunch of kids having a snowball fight that got out of hand. And even as this video materialized and more came out, he was asked about it multiple times on Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday, and he just doubled down. He said, look, I've already said, I think this was a bunch of kids having a snowball fight that got out of hand. Which is the polar opposite of what the police commissioner is saying, what the police union, the PBA, which is the largest NYPD police union here in the city, what they are saying, in addition to what the video is showing. Now, the PBA put out this statement here saying, quote, a 27-year-old with a recent attempted robbery arrest is not a kid. This arrest sends a clear message that assaults on police officers cannot and will not be minimized or tolerated. We thank all of the NYPD members who have worked so hard on this case and all of the New Yorkers who have spoken up in support of our police officers. There is more work to be done to hold accountable all who participated in this shameful attack. And again, Antoine, he's 27 years old. He's an adult.
He's a grown man.
He's not a 15-year-old. He's 27 years old. Now, the ages of the other 3 that they are looking for, if we can go ahead and show that, we don't know yet. But the NYPD is continuing the search for them. In the meantime, the 27-year-old who was arrested, he will be in criminal court and will be arraigned at some point.
You going down there to cover that?
Yeah, I think I'm heading down there to cover that. I'm just waiting to get word from the assignment desk to see what we're doing here, because our management team, they're all meeting to figure out what stories we're all going to be covering
and who to
later
send
on
to
today.
Columbia. Linda, hold on one second before you go.
Yeah.
Athena, if you would put the 4 shot up of the suspects again, because it's this one on the right, Linda, that I want you to weigh in on.
Okay.
It's the one. That is a big chunk of ice. It looks like
Huge.
in this image. And let's break this down a little bit. We're talking frozen solid.
Right.
It is not snowball that's fresh, not like
No.
that. It's basically like a brick or a cement block even.
Right,
This
right.
is not just pelting somebody with some
With a
freshly wet
snowball.
snow.
And the thing of it is too, like when you're whipping snowballs, it's not like they're just gently, throwing them underhand
Soft throws.
and softball
Right.
throws.
Exactly.
No, they are whipping snowballs at police officers and pelting them in the back of their heads and their backs and on their faces. And, there are a lot of people who are outraged about it. In fact, on X, I've seen a lot of people, New Yorkers who live in this area,
Hmm.
who have looked at this video and they've seen some of the police officers in this video and they have come out and supported them saying, look, officer so and so, this is an officer in my precinct. I see this person from time to time. They're always very friendly. We've never had any problems with the police officers. And they're disgusted by the fact that this crowd is pelting these officers with snowballs. It's disrespectful. Like I said, the police commissioner and the police union calling this an assault.
Now, Mamdani did call it. He said the police officers do deserve respect. He did say that.
Correct.
But then again, to his comments, because I was watching that news conference, and he did say kids having a snowball fight.
And he keeps saying it,
And he
and
keeps
he's
saying it.
doubled down on it. He's tripled down on it. And
Linda, the
Ye-
other thing too, I didn't mean to cut you off,
That's
but
okay.
you've been covering NYPD for a while now.
Mhm.
The fact that the officers are walking away
Right.
and deploying de-escalation
That's
speaks
right.
volumes.
Speaks volumes. That's right. Nobody lost their cool. Nobody pulled a weapon. Nobody pushed or shoved
No
anybody.
fisticuffs.
No, nothing. They calmly walked away. And look, even from this distance here, they're away from the crowd, and they're still
They're being
they're
attacked.
still throwing snowballs at them. So, and one of the things here that people in law enforcement, and also the police commissioner, when you allow this, if you allow this type of behavior, then the message goes out to a certain population that this is okay. And then what happens is it starts to escalate
Mhm.
after that. Because there was one summer, I don't know if you remember this video or not, but one summer where they were assaulting police officers with buckets of
I
water,
remember that.
coming up to them and
Just
pouring
pouring it. I
buckets
remember
of
that. I
water
do
on
remember
them,
that.
throwing buckets at
Threw the
them.
bucket at them afterwards. I remember
That
that.
cannot be tolerated. Police officers are out there. They are there to protect the citizens of New York. And there has to be a respect for that.
Yes.
And you cannot do physical harm to a police officer or any member of law enforcement.
The fact that someone would even consider that, just I'm wondering, like, okay, I don't know what you know, but I know the NYPD. They train other municipalities,
That's right.
on how to approach their jobs. They are the last ones that I would go and pick a fight with, especially when, from what we're hearing also, Linda, is that this was a coordinated effort. Someone sent out a message on social media, I think, and that's how so many knew to be there. And
Right.
it sounds like, from what some of the other coverages are showing, like the police were basically, one, we know they were outnumbered because the
They were
officials came out and
severely
said
outnumbered.
severely outnumbered, but it sounds like officials are also saying that this was a coordinated effort.
That's right. This was a coordinated event by many of the people who were there
Yep.
throwing those snowballs. And then again, now this is really important, Antoine, is that people who live in Washington Square Park, they saw this going on and they called 911 to report it, and those police officers were responding to that. So they got there, they saw the situation, like you and I have both said, they were severely outnumbered, and so they started to back away. And as they were backing away, they were getting pummeled by these snowballs.
All right.
So, one arrest, a 27-year-old, an adult, not a kid. But the mayor continues to say, we don't know what he's going to say today. He's in
Right.
Washington, D.C. right now. He's going to be meeting with the president, talking about various other issues. But we're going to have to wait and see if he gets questioned again about this today, or his people get questioned. But up until this moment, he has continued to say that this was just kids
Hmm.
having a snowball fight that got out of hand.
I imagine he may be. Clearly, he's doubling down, but at some point, until he maybe comes out a little bit stronger, perhaps, I think the furor may subside just a little bit. But, a lot of that, especially when he had a del- delicate relationship with the NYPD going into office
begin with.
to begin with, so I
Right.
imagine there is a lot of discussions going on there.